Well, it's a very warm welcome back to second half independent off-tube studio commentary from the game at St James's Park. It's 2-2 between Newcastle United and Brentford. Newcastle taking an early lead through Jamal Lascelles. Brentford equalising a minute later through Ivan Toney. Bees then taking the lead on 31 minutes through Rico Henry before an equaliser from Joelinton on 39 minutes, making it 2-2. And that's how things look at the start of this second half. Well, Brentford will be a bit frustrated there with referee Rob Jones. Pontus Jansson was fouled, and the referee Rob Jones could have given the advantage, but he decides that he's going to give Brentford the free kick, and he's also going to give Callum Wilson a yellow card as well for clattering into Pontus Jansson. This just gives me a chance to remind you of the two teams. There haven't been any substitutions at half-time that I can see, so it's Carl Darlow in goal for Newcastle. A back three of Fabian Schär, Jamal Lascelles and Kieran Clark. The four across the middle are Jacob Murphy, Joe Willock, John Joe Shelvey and Matt Ritchie, with Joelinton, Allan Saint Maximin and Callum Wilson as the three up front for Brentford. Alvaro Fernandez is in goal. It's a back three of Mads Roslev, Pontus Jansson and Ethan Pinnock. The three in central midfield are Sam Godos, Christian Norgard and Vitaly Janelt. Sergi Canos and Rico Henry are the two wide men, with Brian Mbuemo and Ivan Toney as the two up front. And this is a problem now for Pontus Jansson. He's already had a few injury worries this season, and he's down on the ground now. Hasn't gone up since that challenge from Callum Wilson. So with that long injury list that Brentford currently have, he'll certainly be hoping, Thomas Frank that is, will certainly be hoping that everything is okay with Jansson, but that is a strong challenge there from Callum Wilson. He's trying to smile it all off now, but you can see that Jansson is still in a lot of discomfort there. This second half has barely had time to get started, and already a problem there for the Bees. No early goals to tell you about in the second half. Elsewhere, our second half starts a couple of minutes later than everyone else's, of course, with that additional injury time that we had in the first half. But Pontus Jansson being checked over, and he should be okay to play. It doesn't look as though they're preparing anyone on the bench there, Brentford. So he's captain will be back up on his feet fairly shortly, you would imagine. Just looking at the two benches for Newcastle this afternoon, it is Hayden, Manquillo, Kraft, Lewis, Longstaff, Almiron, Fraser, Gale and Dubravka back on the bench. That's certainly good news for Newcastle. He's had a lot of injury problems. As far as Brentford, it is Thompson, Baptiste, Onyeka, Magoma, Bidstrup, Cox, Good, Force and young goalkeeper Haygarth. That's the Bees bench this afternoon, but it has to be said that Pontus Jansson needed a long time there to be checked over. Looks like he's okay to play on now, though. Ball is back in play here, and Toney just colliding with John Joe Shelvey. Got a bit of a reaction there from the Newcastle fans, who of course will be trying to get one of the Brentford players in the book, because there were a few strong challenges from the Bees in the first half, but that long free kick taken all the way to the edge of the Brentford penalty area, and Saint Maximin was chasing that one. Fernandez got there just ahead of him, and a second ball pumped back into the Brentford penalty area. That's easily saved by the goalkeeper. I can say that Manchester United have pulled one back at Vicarage Road. Donny van der Beek has made it 2-1, so Watford did lead 2-0 at half-time, as Ivan Toney is brought down on the halfway line by Fabian Schär, and Schär was close to a booking in the first half. I'm not sure that there's going to be a yellow card for this one necessarily, because if anything, I mean, Toney's got a bit of a flailing arm out there as well, and that seems to have caught Fabian Schär. And so that there's a sixth goal at Turf Moor, and it's now Burnley 3, Crystal Palace 3. Maxwell Cornet with the goal for Burnley. As Fabian Schär still hasn't quite got over that collision there with Ivan Toney. He's saying that he got caught in the eye there. The referee still isn't interested, though. It was always going to be a free kick to Brentford in any case. And it is going to be taken now down this left-hand side. It looks like it's Rico Henry standing over this one. Jason Tyndall just trying to get some instructions to his players as well. It's a long free kick now taken towards the edge of the Newcastle penalty area, headed away by Lascelles. There's a fight for it in midfield, but Joelinton comes away with it for Newcastle, plays it into some open space, but that one's straight to Mads Roslev. And the Bees now back in possession, with Roslev playing this one back towards Alvaro Fernandez. And Fernandez plays it long down the right-hand side over the heads of Sergi Canos. Out for a throw to Newcastle. Say it's been a real baptism of fire for Alvaro Fernandez. Young goalkeeper on loan from Huesca. Don't think he was ever intended to suddenly step in and play 20 plus games for Brentford in a row, which is potentially what is going to happen now, unless the Bees think about strengthening in that department in January. But down the right hand side now for Newcastle goes Callum Wilson. He's getting towards the penalty area. He's got Ethan Pinnock right in front of him, and Pinnock does well. Not only does he put the ball out, he actually deflects it off Wilson in the end. So it's a throw to Brentford now. But it's right by the corner flag next to their own penalty area. They've got a bit of work to do here now to try and play out from the back if they don't want to just clear it long. There's a long throw there from Pinnock. Tony goes down. Wasn't fouled, says the referee, so Newcastle win possession back inside the Bees half. It's play back towards Matt Ritchie on the left-hand side. Under pressure there, he goes back towards the halfway line. It's now with Jamal Lascelles to share. Now John Joe Shelvey plays an early ball over the top. That's a good header away though from Rico Henry, because Jacob Murphy was ready just behind him. Now Ethan Pinnock brings the ball out, plays it square to Henry, back towards Christian Nørgaard. Brentford still insisting on playing out from the back, and they're caught in possession there as the ball gets through towards Joe Linton. He gets to the edge of the area, breaks into the box. Nørgaard puts the challenge in and clears it up towards the halfway line. And now a chance here for perhaps Brentford to go on the counter, but the Bees really were guilty of just sitting on the ball inside their own half there. But now it's Brian Mbremo bringing it forward. He gets the ball out towards Godos. Godos is cross in, looking for Ivan Toney inside the 6-yard box. Good challenge there from Jamal Lascelles, puts the ball out for a corner. Chance now for Brentford to put some pressure on from the set piece. We see this ball coming in there from Godos. Tony was well marked, it has to be said. There were 3 defenders bearing down on men, and this is in fact the first corner kick that Brentford have had in the game. Newcastle have already had 5 of their own. As Pontus Jansson into the box for this one, as is Ethan Pinnock. Mads Roslev is there inside the 6-yard box. Newcastle have got 4 players marking the edge of the 6-yard box. Everybody else fanned out throughout the remainder of the penalty area. It's Jan standing over this one for Brentford. Down the right-hand side, it's going to be a left-footed in-swinger. Puts a bit of whip on that one. It's headed up in the air by Joe Linton. They're still fighting for it inside the box. Tony then heads it up in the air. There's a bit of a collision there. Pontus Jansson might have caught one to the face. They're still fighting for it inside the box before eventually a flag goes up for offside. In the middle of all of that, with the ball being cleared and then pumped back into the box, looks as though potentially was Mads Roslev who was in an offside position. And that is going to be a free kick to Newcastle just at the edge of their own penalty area. Say by my count, that's the 6th or 7th time that we've now been shown Amanda Staveley in the stands this afternoon. Probably be a little happier than when we saw her last time, of course, when Brentford had taken a 2-1 lead. And then when Newcastle got their equaliser, certainly would have been a real relief around St James's Park, because there was a feeling of more of the same really. Newcastle would need to announce themselves with this new ownership. Looking at Newcastle's form, it's not been good. Their last win was in a friendly at the start of the season. They've not had any wins in the Premier League or in the cup competitions since then. Just picking up 5 draws throughout the season. It's going to be a real worry if that run extends past today as well. But it's a throw to Newcastle down the right-hand side, level with the penalty area. It's Murphy's ball into the box, headed up in the air by Lascelles. It's only partially cleared, and Murphy gets there ahead of Rico Henry. And then Murphy in the end runs the ball into Henry. It's out for a throw to Brentford. Down the right-hand side, Raul Jimenez with the goal for Wolves as they take the lead against West Ham. It's great to see Jimenez playing again after that truly horrific head injury that he had last season. He did a long time away. But he's on the score sheet now as Wolves take the lead against West Ham here at St James's Park. It's a little spell of pressure here from Newcastle now, as Murphy's ball into the box is deflected out by Sam Godos. And now Newcastle have a corner kick. 55 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. It's still 2-2 between Newcastle United and Brentford, and Matt Ritchie is standing over this ball now on the right-hand side. Will be a left-footed in-swinger. He's got players to aim for inside the box. Ritchie's ball goes towards Clark. It's a header on target, but if anything, Clark has just redirected that cross. He's not really put too much power on it, and it ends up being quite a comfortable save in the end for the goalkeeper, Alvaro Fernandez. Not too much power on that one at all. Goalkeeper's long clearance goes straight through to Joelinton though, so Brentford don't have any possession at all. It's Newcastle back in possession now with Shelvey playing a ball over the top. One here for Callum Wilson to chase. Holds it up and then plays it back towards Joelinton. Joelinton then finding Saint Maximin down the right-hand side. Saint Maximin under pressure, playing it back towards Murphy. Murphy into the box, trying to find Joelinton. He gets the ball into the 6-yard box, but Janelt is there, and he sweeps up, clears that one towards the halfway line where Ivan Toney was being held onto there by Fabian Schär. And I think Ivan Toney is making the point to the referee that Schär seemed to be on his last warning after a strong foul in the first half. And Schär has committed 2 fouls since then in the second half. So I think a couple of the Brentford players, and it looks like the Brentford bench were making that point. As now Godos is brought down by Murphy. It will be a free kick to Brentford. It looks like the Bees are preparing to make their first change of the afternoon as well. Frank Onyeka is getting ready to come on. Powerful central midfield player who can sit in that defensive role, or he can certainly range forward as well, just depending on what the instructions are going to be from his manager this afternoon. Wonder who he's going to be coming on for. It could be for Godos, who's on a yellow card, potentially for Janelt or Norgard, just to shore up that central midfield area. We'll wait and see, but for the time being it's Newcastle pressing forward down the left here with Matt Ritchie. Plays a quick 1-2 with Joe Willock, back to Ritchie, who puts a cross into the box. It's too close, far too close to Alvaro Fernandez. That, if anything, ended up almost as a miscued shot really from Ritchie. So there's certainly no danger of Callum Wilson getting on the end of that one. It's far too much there from Ritchie's cross, but it's Fernandez's long clearance goes straight through to Lascelles, and Newcastle back in possession in midfield, but they will be now after that foul from Mbeumo. Bumps into the back of Ritchie, and here come the home side now with Joe Willock, just stopped on the left-hand side. Norgard then plays it to Mbeumo, and a chance now for Brentford to go on the counter. Janelt plays a long ball up towards Toney. Toney heads it on, but he's the furthest forward for Brentford, so there's nobody behind him to try and sweep that up. Godos is chasing it down now, but Jacob Murphy gets there first, gets away from Sam Godos, and then miscues his pass down the right-hand side out for a throw to Brentford. And this gives the Bees a chance to make that change that I mentioned, and it is going to be Sam Godos to go off. So Godos off, hobbling a little bit as well, so it may well be that there's an injury concern there. Brentford have got plenty of those already. So Sam Godos is off, and Frank Onyeka, Nigerian, is on to replace him. And, he's going to have to get straight into the pace of this game, because Brentford haven't really had too much of the ball, certainly not hardly any of it in attack in these first 15 minutes. They're not quite 50 minutes, it's 58 minutes gone here at St James's Park. Still 2-2 between Newcastle and Brentford, as Vitaly Janelt just gives the ball away there, puts it out for a throw to Newcastle. Murphy takes it quickly, finds Callum Wilson. 3 Brentford players on him though, he's not able to get away. Now it's with Norgard, who's under pressure. He felt as though he might have been brought down. No free kick. Newcastle in possession now with Joe Willock over towards the left-hand side now for Matt Ritchie. He then finds Saint Maximin. His cross into the box is headed away. Back into midfield now, Mads Roslev. That's a poor clearance from him, though. It goes straight to Matt Ritchie. Ritchie gets to the edge of the area, rolls it back now towards Saint Maximin, who tries to break into the box. He's got Janelt in front of him. Still Saint Maximin. Oh, he almost glided past Janelt there, but Norgard just did enough to get the ball off Saint Maximin. And now it's a chance for Brentford to go on the counter. Onyeka stopped with the ball, no foul. And that's a great ball from Shelvey to pick out Willock. Willock is in an offside position. No, we're playing on. Willock sets it up here for Saint Maximin. His strike is just wide. That was a really good chance for Newcastle to try and take the lead for the second time in this match. But do wonder if there had been a VAR call had the ball gone into the back of the net. It may be that Willock was offside when that move initially started. But then when he lays it back to Saint Maximin, he makes his mind up early that he wants to shoot. Doesn't quite get enough curl on it. It's just going straight past the goal. If he could have just angled that one with a little bit of curl, I think that it would have beaten Fernandez and nestled in the back of the net. But it wasn't to be. 60 minutes gone, independent off-tube studio commentary. Newcastle United 2, Brentford 2. And the other scores at 3 o'clock in the Premier League. Aston Villa 0, Brighton 0. Burnley 3, Crystal Palace 3. But I'll just break off from that because long ball goes over the top here now, and Mbeumo is onside. He gets there ahead of Darlow. Darlow makes the initial save, and the loose ball is just about swept away. It looked for a moment as though Newcastle could have been in trouble, but that's a poor clearance there from Willock. It goes straight through towards Sergi Canos, and then the ball deflects into the path of Rico Henry. He takes on Jacob Murphy. Gets away from Shelvey. Onyeka with the striker, gets a deflection! And Brentford take the lead on 61 minutes. It looks like it's Kieran Clark. It's deflected off him. And Brentford take a 3-2 lead here at St James's Park. It's been a tough afternoon for Newcastle, who've started the second half with all the right intentions, more energy, more possession, trying to get shots away. They actually lead 18-7 in terms of shots in total, 8-4 in terms of shots on target, but it's the visitors from West London that take the lead here on 61 minutes, and it's Rico Henry down the left-hand side. He can't quite get away from Jacob Murphy, just threads that ball through to Onyeka, and Onyeka's strike takes a big deflection off. I just want to be sure, has it definitely come off Kieran Clark? Was it Fabian Schär? I think it is come off Clark in the end. It's that won't worry the Newcastle fans too much though as to who scored the own goal or who's deflected it into the back of the net. The point is that the ball is in the back. It's actually come off Jamal Lascelles last. It's just come off his right knee there, and that's what's given Brentford a 3-2 lead. And could it be that Newcastle are going to go past the third international break, I should say, this season without a win? Already gone through the whole of August, September and October without a win, and so they're only going to get one more chance in the month of November if they don't win this game today. Newcastle's next game is away to Arsenal. In fact, I take it back, they've got two more games in the month of November. They've got Arsenal away and then Norwich at home. But they certainly haven't given up on this game yet. Newcastle have been able to get a couple of goals against Brentford this afternoon, and they'll be looking to try and put pressure on this Bees defence. They've won themselves a free kick around 40 yards out on the right-hand side. It's Shelvey and Ritchie standing over this one. Ritchie tees it up for Shelvey, who floats the ball towards the back post, headed away by Ethan Pinnock. The loose ball drops to Saint Maximin. Saint Maximin taking on Canos. Canos claiming that the ball came off Saint Maximin last. The referee and linesman disagree, so but it's going to be a corner kick to Newcastle. You can see the Geordie crowd really trying to get behind the players. So much positivity around Tyneside as they're waiting so long for the ownership to change, as the ball is whipped in there by Jonjo Shelvey. Both sets of players with their arms up saying it's our ball. Kieran Clark seems to be convinced that it should be a corner. Referee Rob Jones, though, doesn't agree. It is going to be a corner. It is going to be a free kick, as Graham Jones now quickly reporting that the Brentford goalkeeper is just taking a little bit too long with this goal kick. Jeremy Simpson is our fourth official this afternoon. As I say, we did see Edouard Mendy getting a booking in the earlier game today. The earlier game, of course, in case you weren't aware, Chelsea beating Leicester City by 3-0 at the King Power Stadium. Rudiger, Kante and Pulisic with the goals for Chelsea. As Willock is brought down by Onyeka. That is going to be a free kick to Newcastle. Still plenty of time for Newcastle to get back into this game. We're only at 64 minutes. Independent off-tube studio commentary. It is Newcastle United 2, Brentford 3. And a free kick from Jonjo Shelvey. Oh, it's just a little bit too high. And nobody in the box can pick it up, but there's still a chance here for Ritchie. He mops up the loose ball into the penalty area. Ethan Pinnock gets his head to that one and just guides it away from the penalty area. He turns to his teammates and sort of says, well, talk to me, because it looks as though he didn't need to head that one really. But Pinnock making the point to his teammates, potentially mainly to his goalkeeper, that he needed to have been told that. Jacob Murphy now winding up for a long throw down this right-hand side. He's got 4 or 5 players to aim for inside the penalty area. Murphy launching this one into the box. Jamal Lascelles, I think he did get a touch on it, but it's Rico Henry stood just behind him, and his clearance almost turns out like the perfect pass to Mbeumo, and all of a sudden Brentford could go on a counter-attack here as Mbeumo is off down the left. You've got to give credit there to Joe Willock coming back to cover, because really if Willock doesn't put that challenge in on Mbeumo, then he's switching play over from a left to right, and he's going to find Ivan Toney, who could have carried on his run into the box, but it wasn't to be. Willock puts the challenge in, but problems for Newcastle now as Fabian Schär is down on the ground holding his, looks like it's his right hamstring that's giving him problems. So they're going to check him over now. Just to remind you of that bench for Newcastle: Hayden, Manquillo, Kraft, Lewis, Dubravka, Longstaff, Almiron, Fraser and Gale. It's a strong bench for Newcastle. And if it proves to be that Schär would have to go off, just trying to think what the replacement would be. They've got a couple of options. They've got Manquillo, they've got Kraft potentially to sit in that back three. Lewis as well, of course, although those are more wide defenders really. I'm not sure you want any of those in a solid back three. But we'll have to wait and see whether Schär can play on or not. It doesn't look like he is. Looks like he's heading towards the touchline now. But looks like he's ready to come back on. So potentially, it looked quite bad for him there at one stage, but he's ready to come back on the field now, it would seem. Newcastle could certainly do with them. As I say, they don't really have an out-and-out centre-back on their bench this afternoon. As a throw now from Ethan Pinnock. It's a long throw. Ivan Toney heads it on, but just away from Mbeumo. Ball now cleared back towards the halfway line. Roslev, that's not the best header at all. It drops straight to Jonjo Shelvey. Then he plays the ball over the top for Saint Maximin, who takes it down at the edge of the area, puts an early cross in, looking for Callum Wilson, headed away, but the ball drops to Joe Willock. He then plays it square to Jacob Murphy down the right-hand side. Murphy's ball into the box, just a little bit too high for Willock, but Saint Maximin on the left-hand side breaks into the 6-yard box, and Pontus Jansson, well, I think he was trying to deflect that out for a corner. In the end, it goes into in the arms of his goalkeeper, and it's a comfortable save. A comfortable save. He had to dive on that one, the goalkeeper there, Alvaro Fernandez. But just struck him on the chest before he dives on it. In the end, there wasn't too much pace on that deflection. I can tell you as well that it looked like there was a bit of a recovery from Manchester United after they got that early goal back. They were 2-0 down away at Watford. Donny van der Beek made it 2-1, but now on 69 minutes, Harry Maguire's got his second yellow card. So Manchester United down to 10 men and still trailing at Watford by 2-1. Just a quick glance at the other scores. No changes elsewhere. So it's, as I say, it's been a pretty good day in terms of goals being scored. Only Villa against Brighton is the only game that is goalless. And in fact, Wolves against West Ham is the only game when there's only been one goal. So it really has been a good goal-scoring Saturday. Seem to come in these sort of peaks and troughs, don't they? I always notice around Christmas time that if it's not the Boxing Day fixtures, it's the fixtures just after Boxing Day on the 28th and 29th. There always seems to be one or two rounds of games where all of a sudden all the teams just seem to be a little bit exhausted, and you get very low-scoring game weeks. But then other times you just see. Seems to be this season especially, we've had a few freak results already with teams getting big wins away from home. But meantime here back at St James's Park, Newcastle on the attack down the left-hand side. Ritchie's ball in, headed away by Pontus Jansson, back towards where Matt Ritchie was stood. Good header away though from Vitaly Janel, and then Sergi Canos flicks a ball in towards Mbeumo, plays it back to Canos, and then Canos spots Ivan Toney down the left-hand side. Toney doesn't control it first time, but he should still be able to keep this in play, and he gets to the edge of the area, stood up here by Fabian Schär, and then Schär brings him down, and Schär has to get booked here now, because I mean he's done about 5 or 6 fouls on his own, and he's still not getting a yellow card. I've not got some vendetta against the Swiss international, but he's had 3 or 4 poor challenges, and that's after the referee gave him a severe talking to and a warning in the first half. So I'm not really sure what Schär has to do to actually get this yellow card, but Brentford will be very pleased with this free kick. It's right on the line on the left-hand edge of the penalty area. So a couple of options in terms of laying the ball off to someone at the edge of the box, trying to just whip the ball in, trying to perhaps set it up for a shot. We'll have to wait and see what the visitors want to do here. But Pinnock, Janssen and Norgard around about the penalty spot. Left-footed Janelt and right-footed Canos has stood over this one. And wait to see just how Brentford want to play this. The angle's probably just a little bit too tight for the shot, although Canos may still fancy a curling effort here to try and test Karl Darlow. One of those cross-come shots. As it is, Canos lifts that one over the bar. It's the wrong option. I think he was trying to pick out the top corner, which when there's so much traffic in front of the goalkeeper, to me it would have made more sense to try and fire that low and perhaps just get some sort of pinball going, some sort of deflection to try and create a bit more chaos in that Newcastle box. But a double change for the home side now, as Joe Willock is off and he's replaced by Ryan Fraser. So an attack-minded midfielder replaced by an even more attack-minded midfielder, you could say. Fraser likely to go into more of a wide role. Fabian Schär is the other man to go off. He is to be replaced by Sean Longstaff. So this is going to be a change of tactic here for Newcastle, you would imagine, a change of formation. Longstaff very much a central midfielder. You would imagine that this is going to mean that Lascelles and Clark are the two centre-backs, with with Murphy going to be the right back and Ritchie the left back, and then Fraser joining that midfield. We'll have to wait and see exactly how they set up, but that seems to be what Jason Tindall and Graham Jones are trying to do now. They've still got just under 20 minutes to go. His 72 minutes got independent off-tube studio commentary. It is Newcastle United 2, Brentford 3. And it's a long header now from Ethan Pinnock towards Ivan Toney. Toney just tussling there with Lascelles, but he wasn't fouled. Brentford lose possession, and it's with Longstaff now. His first touch of the ball since he's come on. Ball now played towards Joe Linton. He felt as though he was being fouled. No free kick given. Longstaff under pressure there from Norgard. Loses the ball, and suddenly Brentford have got a man over here in Brian Mbeumo. But Janelt plays the ball square to Canos. That slows the move down. Allows a lot more Newcastle players to come back. And then the ball is cleared. That's a really poor choice from Vitaly Janelt. You felt that it was obvious he was going to play that ball through towards Mbeumo. Decided to play it square and slow it down by going back towards Sergi Canos. With Canos down the right-hand side, plays it into Mbeumo, who is brought down at the edge of the area. Newcastle giving unnecessary free kicks away here, and it is going to be Kieran Clark who's given the free kick. I don't think he's going to get a booking for this. He was just holding on to Mbeumo there for a moment, and that was enough to convince the referee that it should be a free kick. This, of course, even if Brentford aren't going to get anything from this, it's just the fact that it slows the game down. It's time that Newcastle aren't spending inside the Bees' half. So from that point of view, I'm sure the Bees will be very pleased with it. Just waiting to see how Brentford are going to take this one. It's Janelt and Canos standing over this one. And just waiting to see which one of these two is actually going to take it. It looks like it's Janelt lifting that one towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Pinnock with the header, and then he gave up a little bit too easily, I thought, Pinnock. His header was blocked by Longstaff, and then Pinnock just stood waiting for a corner kick that was never going to come because Longstaff reacted quickly enough to clear that ball away. Pontus Jansson seems to have been caught in the face there as he was jumping for the original cross. It's going to be a... he's just caught there by Joe Linton. I can't say in any way at all that Joe Linton knows anything about that. I think it's all accidental, but it's a throw to Brentford. Short throw from Pinnock to Onyeka this time. Onyeka then leaves it for Pinnock, who puts a left-footed cross in himself, but doesn't quite have enough whip on that one. It was always too close to Karl Darlow. Comfortable save, who kicks that one out towards the halfway line, taken down by Saint Maximin. Saint Maximin then goes square towards Ryan Fraser down the right-hand side. Fraser puts a ball in for Saint Maximin, who gets it into the back of the net, and Newcastle have equalised once again in this game on 74 minutes. It is now 3-3. Nobody watching Saint Maximin at the back post, and he's able to... it's a really good ball in as well from the right-hand side, and it's 3-3 now at St James's Park. Saint Maximin delighted with that one. Jason Tyndall, thumb up from him. He'll be very pleased to see his side equalising here. And so we'll just see from this replay. It starts off with Darlow, long clearance from him to Saint Maximin. He does well to hold it up on the halfway line. And then he just steps inside, gets away from two Brentford players with that one move. Then he finds Fraser down the right-hand side. It's a delicious ball from Ryan Fraser, it has to be said. It's a great cross. Plays it right into that area where Saint Maximin just has to arrive and play it past the goalkeeper, and that's precisely what he does. Really good finish from Saint Maximin. But it's the cross from Ryan Fraser, for me, that makes this goal. And so it's 3-3 now at St James's Park between Newcastle and Brentford. And potentially goals going in elsewhere. Grant Hanley has put Norwich 2-1 up against Southampton. So potentially Dean Smith might be enjoying a win in his first game as the manager of Norwich City. Just as play restarts here at St James's Park, just under 15 minutes to go, plus a bit of injury time here. It's Newcastle United 3, Brentford 3. And a throw on to the Bees now, but they go all the way back towards the goalkeeper Fernandez. Not sure he could be blamed too much with that last goal. It happened very quickly in front of him. And now a long ball played down towards Rico Henry down the left-hand side. His cross in is just a little bit too short for Ivan Toney. Janelt now has the ball for Brentford in midfield, back towards Ethan Pinnock. Pinnock over towards Rico Henry. Henry's ball into Onyeka. He's not marked. Onyeka strikes that one. Should he have not tried to play it square? I think the goalkeeper gets a touch on it. And is that going to be out for a corner? I think it probably is going to be a corner kick to Brentford. But I do think that, I mean, the space that Onyeka found in the box, Newcastle weren't watching him at all. But why is he shooting there? He's got to try and play that one square, I think. And then the ball actually does get a flick off the hand of Carl Darlow before it hits the post. Sorry, it doesn't hit the post. It hits the corner flag, I should say, and goes out for a corner kick. Charlie Janelt is across to take this one. Waiting to whip it in. Got 5 players to aim for inside the box. Another 3 Brentford players waiting at the edge of the area. Canos is also there for the short corner. But it looks like it's going to be Janelt just whipping this in. The referee's not allowing the corner kick to be taken just yet. It's a bit of pushing and shoving that Rob Jones wants to try and get in order inside the box. But now Janelt's ball in, and it's headed up in the air by Lascelles, not too far away from the box. It drops at the edge of the area, and Buemo, with a sort of flailing left leg at that one, shoots towards goal. But that's a long way away. That doesn't threaten the goal at all. And it is out for a goal kick to Newcastle. 12 minutes to go. 3-3 here between Newcastle and Brentford. Clearance now from Darlow, headed on by Joe Linton. There's a race between there's a race there between Fraser and Henry. Fraser just pushes Rico Henry as he gets there first. Throw now to Newcastle down the right-hand side. It's Jacob Murphy. Throws it into Joe Linton. Back to Murphy. Closed down here by Onyeka. Goes square to Ritchie. Over on the left-hand side. And Ritchie overhits that one by some way. Trying to pick out Saint Maximin, but he missed him by quite some distance. And, confirmation as well, just seeing on a couple of score updates that initially the goal for Brentford was given as Onyeka's goal, that the goal that made it 3-2. But a confirmation now that it was Lascelles' own goal. That big deflection did take it away from Carl Darlow. There's no doubt about that. Just a little bit of admin there as far as the third Brentford goal scorer is concerned. But it is 3-3 here. And the Bees still looking to try and hold on to this draw, because it's certainly Newcastle in the ascendancy now, trying to get forward again down the left-hand side here. Ritchie gets that ball in towards Saint Maximin. 2 Brentford players on him, and Saint Maximin wins the throw for his side. It's going to be taken here by Matt Ritchie. A couple of options here for Ritchie. Throws that one in towards Saint Maximin. It's cleared back towards the halfway line. Lascelles is chasing this one. He gets there ahead of Mbuemo. It's it out for a throw to Brentford. It's been a fascinating game, it has to be said. I mean, the Brentford are making a defensive change now, taking off Mads Roslev, bringing on Charlie Good. It's pretty much like for like in terms of a defender coming on to replace a defender. Good, perhaps just slightly a bit more presence in the box, a slightly bigger player than Roslev. And it's a difficult one for Good, really, when you consider that he was signed by Brentford from Northampton at the beginning of Brentford's promotion season. Had a couple of injury worries, and now with the injury problems that Brentford have in defence, Good's suddenly finding himself being picked a little bit more often, certainly making more appearances off the bench. That's his first touch of the ball. It's a header away from the halfway line. Trying to start a move there for Newcastle was Saint Maximin down the left-hand side. But he's stopped by Christian Norgard. Throws to Newcastle. It's Ritchie now going back towards his own penalty area. Lascelles now to Clark as Darlow just rushed his pass a little bit, and Murphy had to work very hard just to keep that in play, but he manages it. He goes square to Longstaff, but then Longstaff gives the ball away, and Brentford back in possession now inside the Newcastle half, with Onyeka at the edge of the area being closed down by Murphy. Leaves the ball now for Henry. Henry in towards Norgard. He plays it square to Janelt. Janelt's trying to exchange a pass with Mbuemo at the edge of the area, but now it's Saint Maximin going through the gears and charging straight down the middle. There was an attempt to foul him, but the referee allows play to go on. Saint Maximin finds Joelinton. Joelinton, was he brought down inside the penalty area? The referee says no, and we play on. There's a Brentford player down around about the halfway line as well. The Bees, I think, are going to clear it out here so that there can be checked. No, they're playing on. It's a long ball played towards Ivan Toney. Toney trying to get away from Jamal Lascelles. And in the end, he tries to get the cross into the penalty area, but Lascelles is able to stop that. And it's cleared towards the halfway line. I can tell that we finally got a goal in the one game that has been goalless this afternoon up till now. Aston Villa have taken the lead against Brighton and Hove Albion, and it's Ollie Watkins with the goal for Villa. Watkins with a goal, and Villa now a goal up against Brighton. But this was a great chance from the counter-attack here for Newcastle, and it did look at one stage as though there's going to potentially be a penalty, because Pinnock slides in, but he doesn't actually make any contact with Joelinton whatsoever. So credit there to the referee. And if anything, Joelinton might have even been looking at a yellow there, because he seems to go down as if he'd been clipped when there's clearly no contact. So Maximin also asking the question of that previous decision or lack of decision from the referee, but it looks as though Norgard's picked up the yellow card for that attempt to stop Saint Maximin, although French forward still carried on his run. He's got a bit of he's hobbling a little bit now as Saint Maximin as well. We'll have to wait and see whether this is something temporary or whether he's actually going to have to go off here. He's been causing Brentford problems all afternoon, him and Joelinton, so ideally Newcastle would prefer him to stay on the field. He's now explaining the same to the fourth official, but I'm not really sure there was any need for that. I mean, the yellow card has been given to Norgard, and Saint Maximin is back on the field now. 83 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. It is Newcastle 3, Brentford 3, and potentially going to be a little bit of injury time at the end of this game as well. But a long ball now towards Ivan Toney. He chests it down, lays it off for Frank Onyeka. Wins the throw off Jacob Murphy down the left-hand side. Onyeka now back towards Rico Henry and Ethan Pinnock to Pontus Jansson. Newcastle pressing into the Brentford half here, and eventually it's a long clearance down that right-hand side from Charlie Good, but he was actually out of play as he was putting that ball out, so it's a throw to Newcastle. It's Shelvey waiting to take this one. I think he's going to leave it for Matt Ritchie in the end. Both teams, I think, will feel as though they've, well, certainly Newcastle will feel in terms of the possession that they've had, that they've done enough to win this game. Brentford, of course, have led twice in this game, having initially been trailing a goal to nil. So really, both teams will be arguing that they could be a good value for 3 points. But now a chance here for Brentford on the counter as Ivan Toney gets into the penalty area, finds Mbeumo, and Mbeumo just waiting too long to pull the trigger and doesn't get a shot away in the end. Ryan Fraser there with a good challenge, covering back inside his own penalty area. But this looked like a good opportunity for Brentford when Toney got that ball in to Mbeumo. But Fraser just got a foot in there just to get that ball away from Mbeumo before Lascelles did the rest and cleared it long. But he miscued his clearance slightly, Lascelles, so it's a throw to Brentford, but it's within throwing range for Charles Good here, looking to try and launch this one into the box. Gets it towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Joelinton. Played back over towards the left-hand side now. Good tries to get that one in towards Janelt. Janelt just stopped in his tracks there by Joelinton. And now Jonjo Shelvey just runs the ball into Janelt, and eventually the ball goes out for a throw to Brentford down the left-hand side. See, Jonjo Shelvey not happy there. He had a chance to clear that one, but he puts it out for a throw. Good now winding up a long throw here for Brentford. So the referee just asking for a bit of order inside the box. The long throw now headed away by Shelvey, straight to Ryan Fraser, who then volleys that one towards the halfway line. There's a foot race there between Henry and Saint Maximin, but the goalkeeper Alvaro Fernandez comes out almost to the halfway line and clears that one back into the Newcastle half. Sean Longstaff now picks it up here for Newcastle. A long ball down towards Saint Maximin on the left. Saint Maximin puts it onto his right foot, strikes it towards goal. It's blocked by Pontus Jansson. Ball now back in midfield here with Jonjo Shelvey to Ryan Fraser. Fraser lifts the ball into the box. Oh, it's just a little bit too deep there for Callum Wilson. And easily picked up here now by Sergi Canos. Can tell you that Aston Villa have doubled their lead against Brighton and Hove Albion. It's now Villa 2, Brighton 0, with Tyrone Mings getting the second goal. So things looking much better for Aston Villa in that game, with Stevie G now in charge, of course. And fascinating to see two managers. Looks like two managers in their new roles. Dean Smith at Norwich and Steven Gerrard at Villa are going to get wins on their first day. And Eddie Howe, of course, not actually present this afternoon, but this is the first game that him and his coaching staff have had a lot of time with the Newcastle squad. Now, when Newcastle are asking for a corner kick, and the way the Newcastle players have reacted here, it seems to them as though it was obvious that should be a corner. But I'm not quite sure what the referee has given here in the end. Wilson still asking the question. I think he might have been asking about a potential handball in the middle of all of that as well. But Brentford now getting ready to make their third change. And it looks like it's going to be Shandon Baptiste coming on here for the Bees for Vitaly Janot. Pretty much a like-for-like central midfield swap. So Shandon Baptiste on now for the Bees. Had his injury problems as well. There has been a little bit of an injury curse around the Brentford Community Stadium the last couple of seasons. A lot of players struggling with injury. But Baptiste on the field now for the final 90 seconds of regulation play. Plus what I would imagine will be a fair chunk of injury time at the end of the game. Ethan Pinnock now with a long ball over the top, but that's headed forward by Lascelles. The ball drops here to Norgard. Norgard tries to get it to Toney, but that's a good clearance there. Well, almost ended up like a good pass there from Shelby. Just put a little bit too much on that one. And the ball now back at the edge of the area. Pontus Jansson. Now we're bringing this ball forward for Brentford. Toney chests it down for Mbeumo, who plays a long ball over the top, and Henry's going to get there first. He breaks into the penalty area. Henry just needed another extra touch in there, really. Lascelles is back to cover, but that was very, very close there for Brentford. A lovely move down the left-hand side. Just a little bit too much on the pass as the ball now played towards the edge of the Brentford penalty area. Good just gets there ahead of Callum Wilson for a throw, which is going to be taken by Matt Ritchie down the left-hand side. It's got a few options here. Just a short throw from Ritchie in towards Joelinton. And Brentford claiming that Joelinton handballed it. Referee Rob Jones agrees. It will be a free kick to Brentford. Joelinton trying to argue that he didn't know anything about it, but considering that there's no such thing really as an accidental handball in an attacking situation now, we've seen this before with the VAR rules. They're supposed to be a little bit milder on that this year, but still, any kind of handball in the build-up to a goal from an attacking player, you would imagine, is still going to result in the move being stopped or the goal being disallowed if it's not spotted live. We're into injury time now then at the end of this game, just waiting for the fourth official to confirm the injury time. 4 minutes we're going to have, so I actually thought we might have been getting a little bit more than that, but 4 minutes is what's been added on to the second half. As Manchester United's defeat has been confirmed at Vicarage Road, João Pedro makes it 3-1 to Watford. There's Callum Wilson now trying to start a move for Newcastle down the right-hand side, but his strike from a tight angle, missing the goal in the end. And looking at the situation now, it would appear that Brentford just looking to try and play out from the back, although they've done that a few times this afternoon, the Bees, where it looks as though they're trying to play it long. And in the end just decide on a short ball. On this occasion it's Pontus Jansson who clears the ball up towards the halfway line. Ball drops to Frank Onyeka, plays it up to Ivan Toney. Toney then tried to direct that one towards the penalty area, but it's cleared back towards the halfway line. Here is Christian Norgard to Sergi Canos. Norgard now switching play over towards the left-hand edge of the box. The ball is partially cleared by Jacob Murphy, and then Brian Mbeumo just waiting too long for that ball to drop, and in the end didn't do enough to try and win it back. Ball taken quickly down the right-hand side looking for Callum Wilson, but that's out for a throw to Brentford. 2 minutes of injury time. 2 minutes of injury time still to play. Just over 2 minutes, I should say. So it's throw to Brentford down the left as Sergi Canos is now down on the ground. Looks like he's in a bit of trouble. Looks like he's just got a bit of cramp there. Back on his feet now. And Brentford looking to try and perhaps just play out these last couple of minutes. But that's a poor ball from Pinnock, giving that one away to Shelvey. It's floating back towards the Brentford penalty area before it gets away from Callum Wilson. It's back now with Alvaro Fernandez. Would Brentford or Newcastle have taken a draw before kick-off today? I'm not sure that they would have. I think both teams would have felt as though their opposition was beatable today. Essentially, that's why it has been quite an open game at times. But both teams certainly with plenty of corrections in terms of how their defence could operate. I think that all the goals really today have got an element of a defensive error about them. That said, the strike from Joelinton was excellent, but even so, I think that Brentford could have done a little bit more to try and clear their lines before the ball had even reached him. But we've got a minute of injury time to play. Newcastle in possession as a lot of ball is played back towards Carl Darlow. Just a little bit under hit from Kieran Clark, but it did get through to Darlow as Mbeumo was closing down. It's just a little bit of a heart-in-mouth moment there for Newcastle in the dying seconds of this game. It really is getting close to just 2 games still being played in the Premier League. That's our game here at St James's, and the game between Watford and Manchester United. All other Premier League games now have concluded. It's full time. Long ball now towards the edge of the Brentford penalty area. Jansson under pressure from Callum Wilson. He's forced to put the ball out for a corner. So with 30 seconds of injury time still to play, Newcastle United have a great chance to try and win the game. It's going to be an out-swinging corner from Matt Ritchie. Potentially there's going to be a fourth goal for Watford as well. We're just getting reports of that. A fourth goal for Watford. Unbelievable what's happening at Vicarage Road. But here at St James's Park, it's a corner kick for Newcastle. It's floated in by Ritchie, headed up in the air by Shandon Baptiste. The loose ball then drops to Joelinton down the right-hand side. He tries to get a cross in. He's not able to do it. And then the ball is hoofed up in the air by Frank Onyeka. And that is it for this game at St James's Park. It's all over between Newcastle United and Brentford. An exciting game which finishes 3-3 after Newcastle took the lead through Jamal Lascelles on 10 minutes. Brentford equalised a minute later through Ivan Toney. Then they took the lead on 31 through Rico Henry. Joe Linton then equalised for Newcastle before half-time, before Jamal Lascelles' own goal after a Frank Onyeka strike put Brentford 3-2 up. But then on 75 minutes, Allan Saint Maximin equalised it to make it 3-3. That's it for this independent off-tube studio commentary from myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz. Thank you very much, and join us again soon.